All right, welcome back, guys. We have UFC Fight Night, Mexico. Time to eat some tacos, watch some fights. Watch the boys get down. Honestly, not a bad fight card. They got some sneaky good fights in here. Obviously, main event we got Moreno versus Kavanagh. Kavanaugh stepping in on short notice. He was supposed to fight some other dude. I know the name, not off the top of my head right now. And Brandon Moreno is, taking this on short notice as well. Obviously, more prepared. I'm assuming it is a 5-round fight. Lonnie Kavanaugh was he preparing for a fight? I don't think he was preparing for a 5-round fight. Or he was the main event, so maybe he was. Anyways, stepping on short notice, Charles Johnson, who beat Lonnie Kavanaugh last. His last loss was a KO loss against Charles Johnson, which honestly, I had Lonnie Kavanaugh. I thought he was going to win that fight. I picked him to win that fight. But, it's Charles Johnson, and he upsets all the prospects. But I thought Lonnie Kavanaugh looked really, really good in that fight against Charles Johnson until he kind of just got a little bit tired and a little bit overwhelmed, it looked like, and then obviously got hurt and finished. But I thought technique-wise in the first and the second, he looked really, really good. Do I think it's enough to, deal with Brandon Moreno? We'll see. But yeah, anyways, very interesting main event. I'm excited for it. Moreno versus Asu Almabayev, I believe, was the fight that was supposed to be. That would have been a very entertaining fight as well. But let's just be honest. I feel like most of us are more invested in what Lonnie Kavanaugh could be and the prospect he is. I don't know. It's just one of these guys that you watch and they have the hype, the name value, even though maybe he's not on the same technical level as Asu Almabayev quite yet. But it's a more fan favorite, exciting fight. Maybe not as much of a hardcore fight, but And Brandon Moreno, who doesn't love Brandon Moreno? He's one of everybody's favorite fighters. So, anyways, let's go down to the card. We'll go through and predict all these fights. There's a lot of Mexicans in here, and kind of a lot of randos. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. But again, like I said, some good fights. So right off the bat, we got Damian Pinaz versus Wes Schultz. This is one of those fights again where you got two guys that pretty much don't even have a UFC rendering at all. Wes Schultz has had some UFC fights, and I do think he's probably a little bit more well-rounded. He definitely has the grappling advantage against Damian Pinaz. I haven't really watched a lot of Damian Pinaz's fights, or not going to lie, pretty much any of them. But he's definitely the more athletic guy. He definitely hits harder. He's got knockout power, which Wes Schultz doesn't necessarily have, but Wes Schultz has way better grappling. Wes Schultz does get tired sometimes in his fights. I'm hoping he's kind of dealt with that a little bit. I think if Wes Schultz fights a smart fight, a cautious... I hate when you have to fight a cautious fight to win, because it's it's hard to win a fight if you're the guy that's always just playing defensive, right, and trying not to let things happen to you. But I think if he just he's able to avoid a big shot that hurts him or rocks him throughout this fight, he should win it. I think he'll be able to have good success in the grappling and all that kind of stuff. But in the striking, he's not an awful striker. He's got to watch out for a big shot. Damian Pinaz is one of these guys that if he hurts you, he's going to kind of swarm you, it seems like. And Wes Schultz, if he's getting swarmed and rocked, it could be over very, very quickly. Smart pick, I would say, would be Damian Pinaz. I'm going to go with Wes Schultz. I don't know. I have a feeling Wes Schultz is going to be a little bit more experienced and have that grappling advantage to get it done. But, it could very easily be where Damian Pinaz rocks him and gets him out of there. So I'm going to go with Wes Schultz. And I did absolutely awful for picks in the last card, so we're going to try to do a little bit better. But, bro, who knows? I'm no genie, okay? I'm no genie. I'm just a guy that likes UFC, likes to train, likes to fight, and likes to talk about the fights as well. So. Eric Silva versus Francis Marshall. This one for me, both good fighters. I think it's kind of an easy pick. I'm going to pick Francis Marshall. I think he's just Eric Silva's been off for 2 years, I believe, since a leg injury. So coming back in after 2 years, first fight against somebody like Francis Marshall. Obviously, Eric Silva's pretty good, but Francis Marshall's a tough out for anybody. Both in great shape. Both really well-rounded everywhere. I think Francis Marshall has just a little bit better striking and kind of altogether game, and he's just been more active. So I'm going to go with Francis Marshall to win this fight. Height, reach, everything like that. Even fight record's pretty much the exact same, but I think Francis Marshall should be able to get this one done. Two broads I've never heard of. Regina Tyran versus Ernesta Karakady. Crazy names. I don't really know these chicks, to be honest. I watched a couple like prediction videos before this as well, and people seem to think that Regina Tarrant's going to be able to, I guess, just outwork her, overdo her, and Ernesta doesn't have the pop to kind of like stop somebody from coming forward. And you've noticed this a lot, like especially in the lower weight classes when you're sparring or when you're the women's fights. If they don't have like something to deter, like if you don't have a shot that's like gonna get respect from the person to stop coming forward, and they know they can't hurt you coming forward. You can't hurt them coming forward, and you don't really have like a grappling or like some sort of like takedown or something like that that's going to, essentially stop the person from just kind of walking down the whole fight. If they're smart, they're just going to keep coming forward and walk you down. And I do feel like Mrs. Regina, is one of these people that just a little bit more output than Ernesta, and also just she's not going to be like, there's nothing that Ernesta's going to do that's going to kind of dissuade her from coming forward. So she's going to be kind of walking around the octagon, and Ernesta's kind of going to be striking on the back foot. It's hard to win a fight striking on the back foot, just trying to be clean when you're getting outthrown like 2-1, right? So I'm going to go with Regina. I feel like she'll win a decision here, just being more active and coming forward. Douglas Silva de Andrade, my bro, the unk in the sport. My brother's 40, and he's in the featherweight division. Featherweight? I believe this fight's a featherweight. Anyways, versus Javier Reyes. And, dude, by all means, I think Douglas Silva de Andrade is a better fighter, more well-rounded, definitely has way more experience. He's 40, but he's been in the UFC forever. He beat Chito Vera, but, again, who hasn't beat Chito Vera? We'll get to that later, but it's Chito Vera. But he's 29-6, which is honestly is a really good record for the UFC. And being, like, this old in the sport, being this active, so I think he's a good fighter. I think he's well-rounded. I do think he's getting to a point in his career where he's starting to slow down. He is 40. He's had a long career. And Javier Reyes is like, he's a good fighter. I don't think he's quite as well-rounded as Douglas Silva de Andrade. And I think not as experienced. The only thing where he's kind of got the advantage, in my opinion, is just the age, the athleticism. He's quite a bit younger, right? I want to pick Douglas to win this. I could definitely see a world where Javier Reyes, obviously just out-unks the unk. But it's the season of the unks, man. I'm old as shit. This dude's old as shit. We're going with the unks. I think Silva de Andrade is going to, just have the crafty vet performance to be able to outdo Javier Reyes and, win a decision here. Up next, we got Christian Quinones versus Chris Moutinho. Chris Moutinho, man. Both these guys ain't good, but it's Chris Moutinho, man. I feel bad. Like, I maybe for this video, I'm just going to pick Chris Moutinho just because, like, fuck it. Like, if he won and I picked him, that'd be sick. But, dude, he doesn't have a single win in the UFC, and it's not like he's looking good in any of his fights. To be fair, he has fought good people, like obviously Sean and obviously Malcolm Wallmaker. But he doesn't look great in any of those fights. He looks bad in all those fights. Like, he's so plotty. He has no head movement. He has zero natural athleticism. Zero. Absolutely zero. And you can see, like, bro, he can do some crunches. He could use some crunches here. He needs that ab circuit, ab workout, whatever it is. Like, bro needs to start doing some fucking, I don't know, legs to bar or something. He needs abs, dude. Like, he looks like a milk bag. And it's not like he's at, like, light heavyweight or heavyweight. He's at bantamweight, right? I don't know. Bro should be in better shape if this is your full-time profession. I have seen, like, his regional fights where, after he lost to Sean, he went on, like, I think a 4 or 5 fight win streak in the regional scene. And he honestly does decently well in those because although he's, like, not very athletic and he doesn't have great head movement, he is kind of a blockhead, so he doesn't really, get knocked out easily unless Malcolm Wellmaker hits him, which, again, that probably is going to knock out most people. And he's got, like, this grit, and he's kind of got, like, this, I would say, like, Nate Diaz-esque, where he's just gonna overwhelm you with getting punched in the face and coming forward, and output and stubbornness, where like it starts to break some people. And his grappling like isn't bad. Like he mixes it in half decently, but dude, he's just not a UFC caliber fighter. But I don't think Christian Quinones is a high level UFC caliber fighter at all either. So, do I think Christian Quinones is a little bit better than Chris Moutinho? Yes. Do I think that he probably won this fight? Yes. Am I going to pick Chris Moutinho anyways? Yes. We're going to go with Chris Moutinho. I want to see this dude get one win in the UFC at least before he gets thrown back to the regional C again. That would be sick. Next fight, Alien Perez versus Messi Chasson. Close fight. Both are half decent. You want to come through, Brad? You can come through. Just walk through. Just walk through. Crawling under the desk. All right. I honestly think that it's a very close fight, and it's kind of like one of these fights where it could go either way. I'm going to go with Messi Chasson. I think she's got a huge reach advantage. She's pretty good fighting at range. It's one of these fights where, like, who really cares? But, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go with Messi Chasson. I think she should win this fight. But am I sold on that, or do I care? Not necessarily. Ryan Gennarda versus Daniela Medina. Bro, it's Daniel Medina. No one in the right mind can pick this dude. This dude is like a heavier, worse version of Chris Moutinho. He's actually, I think Jose Daniel Medina might be worse than Anshel Jubilee. He might be the worst UFC fighter on the roster right now. This dude is really bad. And I think he's like 2 or 3-0 in the UFC. I don't know how he's still in the UFC. Like, he gets cooked by 90% of people on the regional scene, in my opinion. So, like, I don't know what he's doing here. He does make interesting fights because he just, like, literally eats every punch to the face, grins, and then eventually gets TKO'd, like, 5 minutes after. But at least you're going to get a finish when you put him on a card. So it's like, oh, okay, well, we want to see somebody get knocked out in a UFC event. Let's put Jose Daniel Medina in there. And it is Mexico. So I do think he's going to lose this one. And I do hope after he loses this one, he gets cut. He got 3 fights in the UFC, bro. But he should not be in the UFC. So he got more than he deserved. Let's get him out of there. Santiago Luna versus Angel Pacheco. This is my bad because I don't know who this Angel Pacheco guy is. But Santiago Luna is pretty damn good. So I'm going to go with Santiago Luna. I think, 7-0 versus 7-3 doesn't necessarily mean everything, but yeah, I don't know. I think Santiago Luna is pretty good, and I don't know who this guy is, so I'm going to go with Santiago Luna. Call me a casual. Maybe I am. Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Kevin Borja. Good fight. Emmanuel Rodriguez is a really good fighter. He was obviously on the season of Tough, and the only person he lost to was Joseph Morales, and that was a close fight. And in my opinion, Joseph Morales, he's a really good UFC fighter. For flyweight, he's good. He's really good. And I do think he beats Kevin Borja. So I think he beats Kevin Borja quite easily. I mean, we saw how Alibi did against who did he fight last? Why am I drawing a blank on who Alibi fought? He fought somebody that was like pretty high up in the flyweight division, and he won his last fight. That was last weekend. I don't know. I'm not remembering it, but Emmanuel Rodriguez, he did well against Joseph Morales, and we saw Joseph Morales, and this is MMA math, but we saw what Joseph Morales did against Alibi, and I think Alibi beats Kevin Borjas as well. Kevin Borjas isn't bad, but I don't see him hurting Emmanuel Rodriguez. He could hurt him. His striking is not bad, but Emmanuel Rodriguez has definitely got better grappling. He's definitely just going to be a little bit of a physical bully in there. He's definitely stronger. He throws really, really hard. He's got great output. He's been training with DC like nonstop since his tough experience, tough whatever fights, and I think that like he's going to show up as like the best possible version of Emmanuel Rodriguez. Like he's going to look really good in this fight, like compared to what he normally looks. I know he's 6-0. He's only had 6 professional fights, but he's had like tough fights and probably a decent amateur career in Mexico as well. I think he's just gonna pressure and bully Kevin Borjas in this fight. He's gonna come forward. He does a really good job of coming forward and being an aggressive fighter and having high output and being the guy that's offensive, and he's pretty defensive as well. But he does a good job of being the guy that's he's not on the back foot like trying to go tit for tat with anybody. And I think against Kevin Borjas, that's gonna do him a really good job. So I'm gonna go with Manuel Rodriguez to win this fight. I think probably by decision, but yeah, I think probably by decision. Edgar Chires versus Felipe Burns. I don't know why I clicked on Felipe Burns' profile. Great fight as well, man. Honestly, Edgar Chires, in my opinion, is pretty underrated at flyweight. The dude is freaking huge for flyweight. Like, I know he says he's 5'7", but the dude is big for flyweight. And he's a lot bigger and stronger than the majority of flyweights he goes against whenever I see him in the cage. Felipe Burns the same height, but I think Edgar Chires will have definitely a size advantage in there, a little bit stronger. His boxing is really, really good. His boxing and his grappling is really, really good. He doesn't mix it up much more than the boxing, but his boxing and grappling is really good. And definitely cleaner and better than Felipe Burns. And his boxing is like, it's good, but it's like, he's got some pop in his shots, man. Like we saw he did against Joshua Van. He did quite well in the boxing, honestly. Like, I don't know. I think that Edgar Chires he's got cleaner boxing. He's just fine on the ground. His grappling is more than good enough to keep up with the majority of the flyweight division. I think he's going to get this one done against Felipe Burns. It'll be a good fight, though. Felipe Burns is a good fighter, so it'll be interesting. But I do think that Edgar Chires should win this one. Maybe even get a TKO. Daniel Zellhuber versus Bobby Green, because not a single person is calling this dude King Green. Bobby Green, man, he's an onk in the sport as well. But he's just... I don't know, man. He doesn't have a lot to his game. Like, Bobby Green, he's just hands low, boxing, that's it. Daniel Zellhuber, he's kind of got like, he's got at least a good, well-rounded game. He did lose his last fight. Who did he fight against? Michael Johnson. Yeah, another unk in the sport. And he lost that one in which we all thought he kind of should have won. Or not should have won, but like going into it, we predicted him to win. He had a good fight against Esteban Rivic. The one thing that Daniel Zellhuber does that I personally hate in fighters, and I think we all hate, like when we're going to talk about Chito Vera, next. Sometimes he doesn't have a high enough output, and that was a big thing against Michael Johnson. He didn't have a high enough output, and hopefully he's fixed that because he's a good fighter. He's technically good everywhere. He's one of these fighters that can just sit there and go tit for tat a bit and not throw enough output and lose a decision that way. I don't necessarily see him losing a decision that way to Bobby Green, but it could happen. One thing with Bobby Green is that he is very fast and he does have some good counters. So there could be a point in this fight where he counters or catches Daniel Zellhuber. He throws his hands low. It's kind of hard to see. He could catch him and hurt him and maybe get a surprise win in this fight. But I'm going to go with Daniel Zellhuber. I think he should win this fight. And we got our fucking boy, Marlon Chito Vera. Honestly, dude, I think we're all in the same bandwagon, but I've said this for a long time now. He's one of these fighters that I just hate watching because he just never does enough. He just lets fights, get away from him. He's so comfortable losing a fight. He's so comfortable just, losing a decision. And it's bro, you're down 2 rounds, easily down 2 rounds, just increase your output and go for it. Because he's one of these fighters. It's like most fighters when they're the guy that is, pressing the issue and they're the guy that's leading the dance and they're the guy that's throwing more. They all fight better. They all do better. And Marlon Vera, you always see, whenever he does well in fights, he's the guy that's, he's starting the exchanges. He's coming forward. He's not on the back foot. And I think earlier in his career, he had a couple last minute KOs that he's just literally just hung on to, I can KO anybody in the last minute, even if I'm down 2 rounds. That happens 1 in 10 times, and I just don't think he's he has to have realized that by now that it's not going to happen every time, but he still fights like it's going to happen every time, and it's really annoying. But he's going against Daniel Martinez, who only has 2 wins in the UFC. He's 13-1, but dude, Daniel Martinez is fucking good. His last fight was against Rob Font. So his second fight in the UFC fought Rob Font. And, dude, David Martinez looked fucking good in that fight. I think he's one of the better fighters on the card. I think technique, for technique-wise, I think he's better than Chito Vera, and I think he's going to have way more output than Chito Vera. So I don't see how he loses this fight to Marlon. The only way he loses this fight to Marlon is if, Marlon does one of his stupid last-minute fucking head kicks in the third round or something like that, where he's losing the whole thing and he just flukes the KO. But honestly, I see David Martinez winning this fight easily. We'll see how it goes, but I have him winning this fight. Oh, I clicked on David Martinez. I think David Martinez is really good, man. I'm excited to see where he goes in bantamweight. I think he's one of the better fighters. He looked really good in his last fight. Then we got Moreno versus Kavanagh. This is a good fight, man. Honestly, I know this is a big step up for him. What is Brandon Moreno ranked right now? Brandon Moreno's got to be way up there in the rankings. Does it say, or do I have to exit it? There you go. Brandon Moreno's 6. I mean, Lonnie Kavanagh's going from winning like 2 fights in the UFC, I believe, getting KO'd by Charles Johnson, to fighting 2-time UFC champion, number 6 ranked Brandon Moreno. And honestly, Brandon Moreno could beat anybody in that top. There's not one person in the top 10 that Brandon Moreno couldn't beat on a certain night. And he's going to have a close fight or arguably a winnable fight or a decision against every single one of those guys. He's one of the best fighters in flyweight, one of the best well-rounded fighters in flyweight. He's got such good scrambles, such good grappling. His boxing is really, really good. He's got good low kicks. He has amazing cardio, like 5-round cardio. His output, Brandon Moreno's output is really high, which is awesome. He's a tough fight for literally anybody. Do I think that Lonnie Kavanagh kickboxing striking range is probably a little bit more technical? It probably has a little bit more to offer than Brandon Moreno. Yes, but Brandon Moreno's boxing, striking, kickboxing is good enough to hang with absolutely anybody. Like, I mean, it is. It just simply is. Like, he's proven that. He doesn't get KO'd by fucking anybody, bro. Like, he's fought Figgy how many times? Figueiredo, and he's got hit with some big shots in those fights, and you're not KOing Brandon Moreno. He's Mexican through and through. Like, you're not going to finish him in the striking. So I don't really see how Lonnie Kavanagh wins this fight. No offense. I want him to win this fight because, well, I don't know. I kind of like Brandon Moreno, but Lonnie Kavanagh, he's a really exciting prospect. He's a really good fighter. Technique-wise, he's good. He's well-rounded everywhere. But I don't see how he wins this fight because I don't think he's going to be able to finish Brandon Moreno in the striking. He might be winning the striking exchanges for sure. But cardio-wise, Brandon Moreno's got that all 5 rounds. I think Kavanagh, he's going to gas out 2nd to 3rd round, right? So if he keeps it a nice, technical, clean striking match, maybe he can win, the first couple rounds just based on like points and landing the cleaner shots and being the cleaner striker for sure. But after that, I don't really see how he wins this fight because I do feel like Brandon Moreno is going to be able to out cardio him, outpace him throughout the whole 5 rounds. And I do think that Brandon Moreno does have the advantage in the grappling. His grappling and scrambles are they're faster, they're better, they're smoother than Kavanagh at this point at least. So it's a tough fight for Kavanagh to win. I just don't see how he wins it. He can win it, like he could win it, but I don't see how. Like he could if he fights really technical, saves his energy, maybe he wins the first 2 rounds of points and then survives the last 2 and wins a decision. Outside of that, I don't see how Kavanagh can win this fight, which kind of sucks to say, but like the more I think about it, I'm like, damn, like Brandon Moreno's a problem for a lot of dudes, man. He's easily one of the best fighters in this division. So I mean, with Brandon Moreno, I think he'll win this fight decision just by outpacing Kavanagh. Like, I do think that first couple rounds when Kavanagh's fresh, it's going to be a little bit tougher for Brandon Moreno, but I don't think he's going to be losing the striking exchanges by a lot. Like, I think just by a little bit. And then by the time, it gets into the later rounds, Brandon Moreno's cardio is so good. He's not slowing down for anybody. So I do think he just overwhelms Kavanagh in the later rounds. Anyways, that's my picks for this UFC Fight Night Mexico. I'm excited to be back doing these videos. I'm excited to have some UFC fights on. I'm sitting here with the torn ACL, so I'm literally doing nothing but rehabbing all day and watching fights and getting ready to go back to skiing and training again. So this stuff's fun for me. This stuff is very fun for me. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the MMA channel. And you can hype this video as well. It helps me. Something new YouTube does, but yeah, helps me. I'm doing these videos for fun. This is kind of like a fun channel for me, and I enjoy it. So yeah, doses. See you in the next one. See you for the recap of this video tomorrow night, Sunday morning. Deuces.